Hi guys, welcome back to my channel. Is how a trendy YouTuber would start his video. I'm not a trendy YouTuber, but I am an interesting one, and today's video is all about non-duality. Specifically a couple of non-duality books that I'm gonna sort of riff around. No plan here, just I dug them off the shelf and I thought I'd tell you about them. Non-duality is a very interesting subject. It's the direct awakening school of enlightenment, if you like. It encompasses an awful lot of different practices, different ways of looking at the thing. Unless, of course, you're into Neo-Vedanta, in which case that's all nonsense and it's grace, and you're either lucky or you're not. There's nothing to learn and there's nothing to do. Life decides. Doesn't stop them putting together a class though, does it? Or selling you a course, or having a meeting and charging £15 a head to come in. I'm going to tell you that. There'll be a very in-depth video on Neo-Vedanta versus Vedanta at some point, I'm sure. Now, most people when they talk about these things, presence, non-duality, the idea that there's no separation between objects, that all there is an eternal now, and they normally goes to Eckhart Tolle's The Power of Now, is always the book they've read, which is great, by the way. It's a great book. But there's so much, and it's so rich, and it's so dense, and well, Eckhart Tolle's approach is the populist one, and it's enough, to be honest with you. If you follow his thing, it'll take you all the way, but Christ, does he try reading. There are more interesting voices to consider, and I'm going to lay a few of those on you in this video. I'm going to talk about, I think, 3 books for this one. 3 books I recommend, 3 books that you can get. The first one being this. The Light That I Am. Notes from the Ground of Being by J.C. Ambershell. Now, Ambershell's an interesting cat. I like him. I like all my the authors that I'm into, the people that I really like, are people that live their stuff for real in the actual world. They're not just making a course and trying to sell you a thing. They actually live what they preach. Ambershell is the perfect example of this. You will find no videos by him on here. You will find no course for sale. All you'll find is his books. He's written about 4, and the reason for that is Ambershell is in prison. He's banged up in the clink. He's in prison for not crimes of violence. He's in there for sort of blue-collar crime. He's in there for fraud and for deception and for a bit of identity theft, possibly. I'm not quite sure. The details are sketchy, but it was getting locked up, getting sent to a prison, and let's not mince words, not a nice one. He's in one of those rotten prisons in Texas, you know, really bad ones. That's where he found his spirituality. That's where he came to peace. That's where he came to non-duality. He went into Buddhism, he went to Zen, some other things, but he really found himself through the Headless Way, the teaching of Douglas Harding, which is a brilliant exposition on non-duality. The best book on that is Douglas Harding's Having No Head, but Ambershell's is the one that I recommend more, because he takes what Harding did and actually applies it. You see his process in this book. The book's a transcript of essays that he's written on the subject. There's some transcripts of some satsangs that he's given in prison. And more importantly, the back section, you get the Headless Way exercises. You get the various methods that Harding came up with to experience headlessness. Now, these are powerful moves because they can give you an experience of non-duality instantly. If you do them, you can have a mystical experience instantly. Or you can get confused. It's one of those weird things. I've tried to explain it to people in the past. I get one of 2 responses. They either get it instantly and they're tripping out for the rest of the evening, or nothing. Don't understand what I'm talking about. No idea why that is. Differences in the human nervous system, my inability to describe the thing correctly, I don't know. But the exercises are in this book for you to give a try. I remember sitting over there. I'm in my house right now, and with my friend Ben O, who's a sleight of hand artist and businessman. And we just watched a video. It was Richard Lang explaining some headless stuff, exercises. We did them, and we might as well have taken LSD. We were gone for 3 hours. We went for a walk up the park. It was like midnight, and we're doing the exercises to ourselves. Whoa! We were looking at each other. Oh, it was amazing. Those exercises are in this book. I recommend any of Ambershell's books, but this is the first one. This is the one with the exercises in it. The Light That I Am. Well worth your time. A very different teacher, a very different school of non-duality, and I'll be honest with you, my favourite. It's Living Truth by John Klein. Now, I have got literally every book by Jean Klein on that shelf, and I could have picked any one of them for this. In fact, I might even do another one now. Why don't I do that? The Ease of Being. There you go. Just two of the many titles under Jean Klein's name. Now, Jean Klein's books are not books. They're transcripts of satsang. Satsang is a non-duality meeting where one goes to a non-duality teacher. There's usually a group, and the teacher speaks directly from the ancient state that he is in and that the seeker wishes to acquire. It's a very direct path, non-duality, and those teachings are the best ones because they're coming from it. They're coming direct from source in response to circumstances and questions in the moment. So you get the real jewels in satsang, the stuff that is spontaneous, cannot be planned for, but arises in the interaction. And that's why I like reading books that are transcripts of satsang. And Jean Klein, that's what the Jean Klein books are. Jean Klein comes from the school of Kashmir Shaivism, which is a school of non-duality that I personally love and the one that I've personally practiced the most. I stress I love it. I love it when he talks about it. When you read some of the traditional texts on the subject, you can get lost in a lot of abstraction, and I'm all about the living thing. So, and it's also very closely parallels the stuff I learned from my primary teacher, who is John Stirk, who has his own take on the thing. He doesn't come from any school; he comes directly from it, and he is incredible. And he has books. The only reason I'm not mentioning them in this video is because they're going to get a video of their own. But Jean Klein is wonderful. He was a yoga teacher as well. He was French, and I stress he was he because the first time I bought a Jean Klein book, I misread it. I thought it was Jean Klein. I thought it was a lady. It's not. So for years, Jean Klein is my favourite non-duality teacher. She's wonderful. And then one day someone corrected me, like literally. I think it might even have been my therapist. You know, that's a bloke, right? It's Jean Klein. He's a Frenchman. Oh, right, I got that wrong. Any of his books are worth a look. Those have to be the two that I grabbed, The Ease of Being and Living Truth. Any of his books are worth your time. The lovely thing about Kashmir Shaivism is there's, as with the Headless Way, there's something you can do. I don't get this Neo-Advaita thing that there's nothing you can do, that we're leaves on the wind and some of us just get enlightened and some don't, and it's grace. That can fuck off, and when it gets there, it can fuck off again. There's beautiful teachings out there. There is stuff you can do. There are practices that you can do that will, if they don't guarantee enlightenment, they at least they improve the odds of the accident happening, and they do improve your life, because even if you don't achieve full enlightenment, you do achieve peace, the ability to deal with difficult situations. There's value in these practices, great value. So they're worth pursuing. And the last one is this: The Final Truth by Ramesh Balsekar, who was my favourite non-duality writer until I found Jean Klein. I do love Ramesh, though. I still read his stuff. I've got a pile of his books by my bed. Again, most of Ramesh's books are transcripts of satsang. This one isn't. This is a book he wrote, and he wrote this right at the end of his life. I think this might well be the final one that he wrote, in fact. And he lays it all out there, everything he's learned in the course of his time on the planet, which was vast indeed. He was Nisargadatta Maharaj's translator. And I believe he translated I Am That. I'm not sure if he did that or not, but he was definitely his translator in the room when he had English-speaking visitors that weren't quite getting it. He was Nisargadatta Maharaj's number one student, if you like. And his exposition on the thing is... It's easier reading than Nisargadatta. You should read Nisargadatta if you want to get into non-duality. You should definitely read him. But Ramesh Balsekar is a gateway drug, if you like. His path was the path of self-inquiry. Very different to Jean Klein, and very different to Douglas Harding's Headless Way as taught by Amber Shell. With the Headless Way, you connect directly with the source via a series of methods. With Jean Klein's teaching, again, there are methods that correct, but they correct you directly with the source by going towards it, if you like, by inclusion. Very tantric. Whereas the Final Truth, Ramesh Balsekar, that's very much the school of self-inquiry, of nete, of detachment rather than moving towards. Both end up in the same place. It's just what appeals to you. I've done both, and I like both, and I still do both. I still practice self-inquiry. I still sit, and I'll do that. I'll go through pointers. I'll look at People like the other one that everyone the name's gone, embarrassing. But another part of non-duality is it's real. I'm not going to edit this video much. You're getting the real thing. You're getting an authentic expression on this channel. I mean, I could sit here with the plant and the thing and be all talk in that voice like I'm an enlightened man and talk slowly. But I don't get that whole idea that non-duality removes your personality. It doesn't remove your personality. It lets you see what the personality is and allows you to enjoy it. But it's no more real than anything else, the personality. You do really get to see through things when you start to practice these methods. You see how much of it you're making up. And you're making up a lot of it. You know? You're doing a lot of it to yourself. I do it to myself. I torture myself. I punish myself like you wouldn't believe. Old regrets, old news, old stories, and then you read a few paragraphs from one of these books and you see through it. It brings you back on point. It brings you back on the path. You let go of what isn't essential, which is 99% of it, and you come into this, what is the Tao itself, the witch of which there is no witcher, the happening. Life coursing through your veins, through the universe, and you are that. Everything else is transitory, including the physical body, but life itself continues. It never stops, and you are that very life. I think. Anyway, very quick video that. 3 books that I heartily recommend. Get them. Love you lots. See you on my next video.